From the IMTV Wave Channel 5 studio at Greenville Senior High School, home of the Greenville Green Wave, the Greenville Veterans Memorial Park and Digital Library proudly presents Never Stop Serving. And now, your host, Mike Maloney.
Hello everybody, Mike Maloney with the Veterans Memorial Park and Digital Library. We're here at the IMTV Studios, Channel 5, speaking with our first guest of the year. Our talent show is a week away, and she's in our talent show. So she was nice to come into the studio and talk to us. We're going to talk first about her, and then we'll talk a little bit about the show. First, let me introduce her. We have Starrann Weiss, right?
Wise.
Weiss. Starrann Weiss. Please, Starrann, tell us about yourself. Start with where you were born, where you grew up, what high school you went to, your education, and then your military service.
Okay. Well, I was actually born in Weaver Station at my grandma's house. Mm-hmm. But
where's Weaver Station?
Right outside of Fort Jefferson.
Okay. All right.
Last time I recollect, that's
All right.
where it is. And I was raised in New Madison. I went to Tri-Village. I was raised in Darke County. I was there my whole life and graduated from Tri-Village. And upon graduation, I entered the United States Army Band program. And after auditioning, I got into the Army Band and left New Madison for the next 12 years and traveled around. At the time that I went in the military, women were not allowed to be in any men's bands anywhere in any of the armed forces.
I hate to make you do this, but what time frame was this?
Okay. This was 1970.
1970.
Yeah.
So 1970s.
1970s.
It was all male bands, all female bands.
Yes, it was in the 70s, and that changed when the Army integrated, when there was no more Women's Army Corps, no more. The women were not separate any longer. Everyone just became a soldier. So at that
when did that happen?
1976, 77.
1976. Okay.
Yeah. So after that, then I went to Germany for the 3rd Infantry Division in that band for 3 years, and we traveled all over Europe and played music. And we would our troops would come over for Reforger, which is a return to the troop exercises. They would do it in a Reforger. Mm-hmm. They would come back, and we'd bring over our tanks and our artillery and everything, and kind of tear up their streets and things. It
was a Cold War exercise, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So, and then the bands would go around and kind of play pacification concerts. Mm-hmm. And music is pretty much it's a universal language. Everybody understands it. So we played all over Europe, and of course you're an Army musician, but you're also a soldier first. So you still have to be in shape, do all your physical training, know how to throw grenades, fire M16, qualify, and stay qualified, and stay sharp, and in tune with your instrument, which is your primary reason what you're doing in the Army, but you're also, like I said, you're a soldier first. So I came back from Germany and spent a few more years in the military, and then decided that I wanted this. I had not been a civilian yet. I was a civilian when I was in high school, but I wanted to kind of check out the civilian world. I'd spent 12 years in the military, 12 years in the Army Band program, and at that time I got out of the Army Band. I was looking at my notes here to make sure I don't forget to tell y'all anything.
Yeah, don't forget, we want to hear it all.
And when I got out of the Army Band program, I had been a long time, 12 years since I lived in Ohio, because I was traveling all over the world, literally. So one of the things I wanted to back up and talk about was during the Vietnam era, and even right now today, that we played taps. Mm-hmm. It's one of the things that a military trumpet player, that it's one of the functions that you do, is that you play taps for military funerals. And taps is, it's the highest honor that you can pay to a fallen soldier. is to play taps. And it would not be appropriate for me today to do a demo of taps.
Absolutely, it's not.
That's something that's pretty sacred. But I remember the very first time that I played taps, I was 18 years old and realized that the person that I was playing for was someone that was killed in Vietnam, and they were also 18. And it really made me realize as I stood there thinking about that, realized my own mortality. I thought, oh wow, this guy's the same age I am, and it's you're just a teenager, and it takes you a while to try to process all of that. So that was a rather chilling time, and probably one of the things that I really remember about the younger time that I served in the military. But upon getting out of the military, I still continued to provide taps when asked to do so. Then eventually I did join the VFW, and I'll get back to that in a minute. But right after I got out of the military after 12 years, I came back home. I wanted to come back, and I lived in Greenville and worked for Corning. And I worked for Corning Glass, and a lot of people may know a lot of people that worked at Corning. I was there 19 years, and then they shut that factory down, and like so many factories, I believe it went to China. It was nothing that we as employees did. It was a great place to work, and we were making our goals and everything. It's just that if things are done cheaper in other places, and that's where you go.
Right.
So that's why I think Corning left. So I worked there 19 years, and I thought to myself, okay, now what am I going to do? So I decided that I was going to go back into the military. There's actually a gentleman who worked at Corning, Chris Raymert. I believe that he's a master sergeant now, and he's retired from the military. But Chris talked to me and asked me, he said, hey, weren't you in the Army for a long time? And I said, yeah, 12 years. And he said, well, you can still go in. You just got to be out before you're 60 to finish up your time. And I went, oh, okay, but gee whiz, that's going to be a lot to do, Well, come to have it that I didn't have any trouble getting back in. They even gave me a bonus. I passed everything physically, and went back in during Iraqi freedom. I served during that period of time after Corning shut down, and I went back in as a reservist to finish up my last 8 years. And not only it was a good feeling to continue to get back into serving my country.
But you're still playing trumpet then?
Yes, I went right back into my MOS.
Right.
Your MOS is your military occupational skill. So, and mine was to play trumpet. So I went right back into the Army band program, and then, as luck would have it, good or bad, I got mobilized because of the Iraqi war. I got put on active duty, and that was rather interesting. So I was active for the last 8 years that I served, which I was going to be a reservist, where you just go every 2 weeks out of the.
But they hooked you for the whole 8, huh?
Yeah, but I got put back on active duty, and while you are an Army musician, it's still boots on the ground. You're still a soldier, and if no matter what happens, that you are going to go fight. Because when you raise your hand, no matter what your job is, you did say that you would take a bullet for your country. Mm-hmm. So I went ahead and did all the training. Went to a FOB training. It's a forward operation base where you go, and it's all set up like an Iraqi village, and you throw grenades and sleep outside and crawl around on the ground, and because you have to be able to protect if Mike is my battle buddy, he's got to know that I'm not going to scream and cry, and what's more important, I have to know that he's not going to scream and cry because battle does funny things to people. You don't know how you're going to react until somebody starts shooting at you. And you hope you shoot back and you don't end up shooting yourself, and that's why you go through really extensive and very, very good training. That our soldiers are very, very well trained. So after I served all of my time in the military and went ahead and had my time in to get out, I had enough time to retire. I got out and decided to I just wanted to kick around a little bit. I went out to California for 3 years, and a friend of mine out there, I had some friends in California, a friend of mine out there said, hey, why don't you join the VFW? You were in the Iraqi war. And I said, yeah, okay.
That was a good friend.
That was a good friend. So I went ahead and I joined the VFW and became a lifetime member. And I was a junior vice commander there, and a lot of different duties. And I performed taps with the firing squad and continued to pay tribute. I played. I have some things written down. Just community events for flag dedications, Memorial Day, Veterans Day. I was very active and played taps and
Now wait a second.
about anything else they wanted.
So you did 12 years of active service.
Yes.
Got out, did a little work for Corning,
Yeah.
did another 8.
Right.
Did another 8. So you're done. You're retired. 20
Yes,
years.
yes.
And now you're still doing stuff, aren't you?
Yes, I'm still doing. I guess I'm still very active and play taps around Ohio, and then there's also something called Taps Across America, and I'm a part of that organization, and that is that you can be called upon within you tell them how far you'll drive,
Right.
you know, within a certain amount of a radius, and you'll play taps, and it was like I said, I joined that VFW, and Mike broke my concentration, so
Sorry.
don't blame it
I
on
do
me.
that.
It's okay. So anyway,
I wanted to bring that out.
oh,
but
okay, yeah,
I'll let you get back in here. I wanted to bring that out because I don't ask anymore. When I ask veterans to come in here to talk to us, I don't ask anymore what they do after service because I know they do something.
Yeah.
They all do.
Right.
I haven't found one yet that, oh no, I just kick back and
yeah,
take care of myself. None of them. There's none.
Yeah,
So I don't even
right.
have to ask anymore.
yeah,
That's why I
right,
brought it
yeah,
up.
yeah. You
You don't
do.
have to ask anymore. Veterans,
Yeah.
we never stop serving. The name of
Right,
the show
you,
is
yeah,
Never Stop
you,
Serving.
right. You never stop serving, and you come forward and help out any place and everywhere that you can, and talk to people. And I know I've talked to several young people that are saying, you know, I just don't know what I'm going to do. And I've asked them. I said, have you thought about the military? I said, it's a great life. They'll take real good care of you.
Purpose, motivation,
And,
direction.
Yeah, just figure out what you want to do. They have like about 150 different jobs that you can do, that not everybody has to go in and be a ground soldier and that you instantly will go to war. It depends on what your MOS is. If you wanted to go to Fort Sam Houston, Texas and become a medic or lab technician, or you could be a musician, but you do have to keep your skills up so that if you were called upon to go into combat, if you would be one of the last ones they would take, you know, because that's not primarily what you've been doing the whole time, rather than if you've been in the military the whole time and always been a combat soldier, that you were snipers and everything, and you wouldn't, things like that you wouldn't get into. Say, for instance, me, I don't know anything about being a sniper, but after I got out of the military, which I actually got out in 2010 is when I retired. So, and then I just kicked around the country and did some things, and I'd saved a lot of money because I decided that I just wanted a little time for myself and see what was going on. And that's when I decided that I needed to join a community band. And community bands, because it's fun to play in, and again, you're giving back. It's generally they're volunteer, and of course I wanted to play in the Greenville Civic Band, the community band, because I'm being from Darke County. That was a Darke County vet. That was important to me, but I was told that they didn't need me.
Really?
They were full, and I went, all right. I thought, you can't make room for a vet.
Now, have you found a place?
Yes, I now play in, but being a soldier,
Because
and being a
I'll tell
doer.
you straight up, I know the Greenville Honor Guard would love to have you.
Okay.
I know it.
Okay, but being a soldier, I now play in the Tip City Community Band, and the band director over there welcomed me with open arms, and that I've been to a few rehearsals. It's a great band. It's a great place to go perform, and So that's what I'm doing today, and still traveling around and playing taps and doing what I can to give back.
Okay, all right. You had mentioned combat soldiers and other services and stuff. That there's many different jobs.
There
I'm
is.
glad you brought that up because I think the common perception, in the population is everybody in the Army, is in a foxhole.
No.
Fact of the matter, for every combat infantryman, there's 15 people behind that person
Right.
in support.
Support.
So that's that's just something a lot of people don't think about. They think everybody, marches towards the front. In fact, of that,
Yeah.
a very select few anymore.
Right.
And the rest of it's all in
Right.
combat support and so forth.
Right.
So that was very interesting. The other thing, we talked about your trumpet there.
Right.
What do you know about the history of signal and stuff?
Right. I was going to talk a little bit about
Yeah.
the bugle calls, which I'm going to play a couple of
Right.
them here. Is that the
Tell us
bugle?
about the history of it.
Yeah, the bugle calls were originated mostly. They go as far back as the Civil War, and it was so loud. It was actually a form of what Mike said, talked about earlier about it being a form of communication. Everything was so loud, and groups of people, even if you weren't at war, you get together with your friends, as you can get quite loud, and you hear somebody yelling, you may or may not, but they used the bugle was a form of communication, so that people knew what to do, and they also used drums too, because they were louder
Drum beats,
instruments,
yeah.
right? So.
The commander has used them to signal his
Right,
troops.
because they could just come up to the bugler
Right.
and
sound,
and say, let's go ahead and sound whatever we need to sound, and then they would, and then all the troops would hear that, and they would assemble to whatever that bugle call was.
So now let me test your skills there.
Yeah.
If do you know the sound for, like, let's say I'm out there charging with my troops and I want to retreat.
Right. I'll play
Do you
that.
know the sound? Do you know the signal for retreat?
Well, for retreat, there's different types of retreat. The only one that I know is when you retreat to the collars, but it's quite long and it's really slow.
And that wouldn't actually be that signal.
That wouldn't be
I know
that-
what you're talking about.
That wouldn't be that signal.
So what do you know any command signals that would
Okay,
apply?
let's. I'm going to start with
Let's try this
a
out.
couple things here.
Let us have it here.
Stand up.
Yeah, feel free.
Okay, I'm gonna start. Let's say we have to get everybody out of bed.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I like this one.
Okay, that'll wake you up in the morning.
And that means get out of bed, right?
And everybody, and they still play. If you're on a military post, if somebody chooses to go into the military, there's loud speakers
Right.
all over the military post, and you'll hear that. So once you're out of bed and everybody's up doing what they're supposed to be doing, and you're all ready to go off and do everything, let's see, what would we play? So you're out of bed, you're in your uniform, and you're ready to go, and the battle cry, it would be, then we would play charge.
Let's hear it. You hear that at baseball games.
Yep, you do. Okay, and everybody's out working, and everybody's doing their thing, whatever it might be, but people they always love to hear this one. It's called mess call.
Mess call.
Okay, those are just some of the calls.
Can I make a special request? We'll try.
Okay, we'll
How
try
about
it.
tattoo?
Tattoo.
Can you do it?
Oh, isn't that the one? Let me think of
At
it.
night, isn't it?
Tattoo. Well,
That's my favorite. I don't know if you can do this one.
No, I don't think
I don't put you on the spot.
I
Yeah.
don't think I have that one right.
my favorite,
Right
too.
off the top of my head, but you'll have to listen to that one.
I've always liked Two of the Colors too.
You have
I've
to
always
listen
thought
to
that was-
YouTube. I can do a little bit of To the Color.
Yeah, I've always thought that was nice.
Let me see if I can think of it here real quick.
Picking the brain. To the Colors.
To the Colors.
Thank you very much for that.
Okay.
Appreciate
All
that.
right.
So you're going to sign up for the Greenville Honor Guard, I heard.
Sure. I heard
No,
that
definitely will get your
someplace.
name. Well, the good news is all those folks that are involved with that, are a lot of the key folks, will be at the talent show.
Oh, okay.
Which we'll talk about real quick. The talent show, 10 November. It's Saturday. All the proceeds are going to Chief Petty Officer Kenton Stacy, a 2002 Greenville alumni that was severely wounded in Syria. If you can't make the show, you can watch our stream online. It's going to be on YouTube, Facebook, all that, Instagram. We'll have it out there, flashing out there. Also, so please join us. I want to thank Starrann for coming in here, giving us a little treat here, and giving us a little, first giving us, another episode of Never Stop Serving, because, like I said,
Yep.
I don't have to ask anymore. I don't ask anymore. I figure, we'll get to that. I know
Yeah.
they do something.
Yeah, yeah.
And please consider transferring your membership too. I know you're a member in California. You're
Okay.
here now. We'd love
Right.
to have you.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll definitely put you to work.
Okay, great.
One of the best things veterans organizations do is funerals. It's the best
Right.
contribution we make to the community.
Like I said, it's the highest honor you can
Right.
give a soldier is to play
and,
taps.
and to be part of that, I know. I'm pretty sure they run a recording. It'd be fantastic.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have a live
Yeah.
bugler.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, folks, so that's it. Please check us out November 10th, our talent show. And then, of course, we'll be downtown Greenville for the 11th, at the 11th hour, at the 11th minute on Sunday, November 11th. Thanks, everybody. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Please visit us on our social media sites. Please consider contributing to our mission in some way. Also, we are always looking for veterans and their families to share their stories with us. Be sure to join us next week for our next episode of Never Stop Serving.